just bought a house in Birdsview. And she's like, oh, you're going upriver. And I'm like,
oh,
yeah, I
you're
guess.
one of them.
Yeah. Like,
and, sadly, that's the common attitude downriver. Is, oh, you're one of those people.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. Just check my stuff out and let me go. Bye-bye.
I'm good with being one of those people now.
So
I was just going to say, I come from a long line of hill people myself, and we are a little bit odd ducks up here.
So this is what you need to do. You need to download dueling banjos on your phone.
No.
And just kick it off, in your pocket while they're staring at you.
With UFOs in the background.
That's my ringtone.
No, oh God.
There you
It
go.
is.
Good for you. I've got the X-Files for my ringtone.
Yeah, what's up with the X-Files anyway?
Well, I think I think Chris Carter, the producer of that, the executive producer of that series, I think he was fed with some very interesting details from maybe insiders from the government in getting some of those stories out, because some of those stories are right out of the deep state, investigations that you hear about some of these UFOs and, cryptids and all sorts of strange things that show did for years and years. It was quite a production.
I love that show.
What was your favorite episode of the X-Files? Do you remember?
I think it was when Mulder was remembering what happened with his sister.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a great one. His sister was Amanda. Was that her name?
Yeah.
I don't remember her name.
It was Amanda.
Yeah. Great. Great stories about.
No, I gotta say that I think the creepiest one out of all of them I saw, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was the parasitic creature. And the scene I remember that haunts me the most is when the guy goes into the outhouse, and the creature was in the outhouse.
Oh, God.
And, well, he didn't get out of the outhouse. So, yeah, that'd be the creepiest one. Now, I just got done with Stranger Things.
Oh, yes.
Season 3 is coming out in July.
Fantastic.
Now, say again?
May, not July.
The director said it was going to be in July.
It's advertising on Netflix as May 13th, I think.
Well, I hope it is. Sooner the better. I would like to get that cast on S-4.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
Well, if you look at the Upside Down, as they call it.
Oh, yes.
Very, very similar to Other Dimensions, astral included. So, again, and we're going to do a specific show on S4 just on movies and TV shows and how they relate to the paranormal and with reality versus fiction. But, I got to say, they're getting their information from somewhere in many cases.
That's why I wouldn't want the cast. I'd want the Duffer Brothers themselves.
Oh, I'm working on it. Trust me. I sent one of the Duffer Brothers, I can't remember which one, but I sent one of the Duffer Brothers a message. But being as they're in California and they're always busy doing, writing.
Stranger Things?
Yeah, Stranger Things. I figure they're going to be busy.
Oh, California must have a lot of Stranger Things.
Oh, and Kayla is in the chat room. She thought Darkness Falls, and that was we talked about this on S4, the Darkness Falls episode, and that was where they cut the trees down in the Olympic Mountains, by the way, and those ancient bugs came out and were eating people.
Ew.
Oh, that's the X-Files you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the X-Files. The X-Files. Sorry, needed to clarify.
Wasn't that interesting that they picked the Olympic Peninsula with those old growth trees? And it was kind of a political statement, but I thought it was kind of cool where the writers of that show were not incredible, by the way. They came up with the idea that if you cut down an old growth tree, inside the tree are viruses, basically almost like the things you would find in Antarctica, that have been buried there for eons, and all of a sudden they're brought to the surface in these cores that they drill in there for scientific purposes. Same thing with the trees. The trees were holding inside of them these viruses that were killing people. That was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
You got to think of how dangerous that probably actually is.
You would think so.
But you think about it, they're digging in Antarctica, finding all these things. They could dig out Black Plague.
Or the black
Plague.
Or the black goo from the X-Files. You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, Trippin's in the chat room. Trippin just brought up the black alien goo is actually one of his favorite episodes of the X-Files.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
Does anyone know if that's streaming anywhere?
I don't think so. I've tried to find it. I mean, there are how many seasons? 9 of them? 9 seasons?
Sounds about right.
You can. I remember counting them one time, and I think there's like 220 or 202 episodes that you can binge on if you really wanted to. And I tell you what, there's some really awesome ones on there. One of my favorite episodes, you're not going to believe this, was it was called Jose Young from Outer Space with Charles Nelson Riley. Was this famous author that was writing a story about UFOs, a novel basically, and he was interviewing Scully about his book, and I think it was one of those times where David Duchovny was like holding out or taking a rest from the series because he wasn't even on some of those episodes. It was just Gillian Anderson. But this was a great episode with Charles Nelson Riley writing a novel called Jose Young from Outer Space. That's the name of the thing. And all of a sudden, these alien reproduction vehicles are being used in this episode by the military, faking alien abductions for some reason, when the alien reproduction vehicle and the alien military guys are actually abducted by a real UFO during the episode there.
That's karma.
What's that?
That's karma.
Oh, karma. There you go. Yeah.
It is. So who remembers the TV show Warehouse 13?
Oh, God, I love it.
I don't.
Oh, that's one you look up. Warehouse 13 is another good one. I'm not sure where you can find it.
Netflix.
Oh,
Netflix.
really?
Yes, it is on Netflix, but it's missing a season. You have to get the last season somewhere else. We bought it.
That's okay. As long as I can watch the first few seasons. And the other one I do have is Thornwood.
Oh, now that's interesting. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Thornwood. I've got both seasons of Thornwood.
How about V?
Now, are you talking Thornwood as Rose Red? That Thornwood?
No. Okay. No, Thornwood's a TV show, a TV series that came out that was kind of like Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Well, the Rose Red was pretty cool, though.
Torchwood.
Yeah, no, there you go, Torchwood. Now, Thornwood Yeah, Thornwood is another haunted spot, and it's down Fort Lewis area in a little town called Tillicum, right outside base.
Yeah, it's Lakewood.
Yeah. Well,
but now that story that gets you.
Yeah, that's Rose. Yeah, Rose Red was well done. Yeah, and Trippin's in the chat room. Yeah, so Torchwood is a spin-off of Doctor Who, but it's all alien. It's all alien based, and it's all well. They do. I like the fairy episode too. They actually do an evil fairy episode. The Torchwood. That's cool.
Now, like when I read your posts for like FMP and stuff, and you're talking the very first intro that you do, Eric, where you're talking about what all you are investigating, like from the Bigfoot, and you talk about cryptids and UFOs, alien abductions and stuff. How do you guys cover going from like hauntings to the UFOs to Bigfoot? And I'm not even sure what the cryptid things are. But do they all tie in together somehow, or are they all like completely separate, different things?
They're separate, but there's some out there that do think there's a connection. We haven't exactly found the direct connection to them all, other than energy potentially. Now with Bigfoot, and I know Michael will back me up on this to a degree because no one's definite. There's no definite hard evidence for any of it, but.
Right.
With Bigfoot, now with the Bigfoot UFO connection, I've heard some reports where this craft lands, Bigfoot comes out of the craft, collects water and soil samples, gets back on the craft, and takes off. You hear other reports where if there's a UFO spotted and someone does see a Bigfoot's running away from the UFO. Now, I do have a theory on that. If aliens can abduct humans and have been abducting humans, why aren't they abducting Bigfoot as well? Which would explain why Bigfoot's terrified of UFOs.
There you go.
If they're after DNA and they're watching for DNA anomalies, it would make sense if they abducted Bigfoot as well, or even other.
Well, yeah, because we're still looking for DNA on Bigfoot.
And maybe this will be the year. But, you always say, maybe this will be the year. And, no, he's the best hide-and-seek player in the world.
Have they found anything?
Michael?
Oh, yeah. Well, our good friend Melba Ketchum, Dr. Melba Ketchum, has actually come out with a detailed analysis, scientific analysis of Bigfoot hair and the DNA inside of it. And she has come to the conclusion, some startling facts, that it's partly human and partly not human, of no known genome. So basically a hybrid potentially. Some people obviously are saying that it's maybe even a multi-dimensional being. We've all heard these stories of Bigfoot being able to basically just disappear. Some people say it disappeared right in front of their eyes, or it can cloak itself. And people have said that they believe they felt something right behind them or in the area, but they could not see it. So all sorts of interesting Bigfoot stories out there that I think when it comes right down to it, as the famous Canadian ufologist Grant Cameron says, that everything is connected somehow. That everything, once we tip that first domino over, that knocks everything else down, we're going to find out that ghosts and ETs and UFOs and all those things, even fairy and the fae, all that stuff seems to be connected somehow when you get right down to it.
And it might be as simple as dimensions.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm right there with you, Michael, and with all the other interdimensional theorists out there that I do believe Bigfoot, and I've said it on the show many times, that, yeah, I do believe Bigfoot is interdimensional, based on,